Hi, I've just got back from Japan, just about recovering from the jet lag, and as usual, it was amazing. Fantastic hospitality, and as always, the food was a delight. So I spent 3 days in Tokyo visiting clients and attending a global conference, and then I went up to Gunma Prefecture. I didn't get everything right. As usual, I took too much luggage, but Japan being the land of convenience, I used their courier service from the airport to the hotel and between hotels. I also didn't take enough gifts to reciprocate the amazing hospitality, and I completely forgot how many electric cars there are in Japan, and often found myself walking in front of a car unknowingly, but they were very good about it. So the big word for my trip was Natsukashii. Natsukashii is a Japanese word used a lot, and it's quite hard to directly translate into English. It conjures up a sense of nostalgia, memories of the past, of good times, Natsukashii, and does show a side of the Japanese that we don't often associate with them, is sentimentality. So considering that I hadn't seen some people for 18 years, this word came up a lot on the trip, and we reminisced about things that we'd done. And it does, it really does get used on the TV a lot, in the media, in advertising, and is an important thing to know about, even for businesses. So what I'm going to be doing over the coming months is talking about, the insights and experiences I've had, and trying to show, what this actually means about Japanese life, Japanese society. When I was on the trip, I did meet a few businesses, and some of them, even though they've been in Japan for many years, are still struggling with the communicational side. So what I hope to do with businesses is to really show them, what is actually going on, how the Japanese think, why they're doing certain things, so that they can actually get to know a bit more about it, and not just know how to hand over business cards or bow. So I'm going to give a bit of an insight into what I will talk about, quite a few subjects. So the first one I'm going to be looking at is the regions. This ties into the element of Natsukashii. The Japanese, as I said, have a strong connection to their hometown, and the regions, the prefectures, really do try to differentiate themselves with their produce, with the different areas, and they have a mascot, and regional promotion is very strong. And this obviously impacts on tourism as well. But I have seen inward investment presentations from the Japanese regions that really do hone in on the food and the specialities of their region, not just kind of the business elements of going to that region. And obviously this does then tie in with tourism, big emphasis on tourism in Japan at the moment, and I saw lots of people going out, spoke to lots of people travelling to Japan who maybe 10 years ago wouldn't have done that. So that was really positive. And obviously this opens up different markets, and within Japan you have an ageing population which are moving around and visiting tourist destinations a lot, as I experienced. So the ageing population, this also has an impact on the markets. There's some interesting diversification going on with certain companies investing in the healthcare market. Also interesting sales of health foods, of specific health foods in convenience stores for diabetes, etc. And I also saw lots of dentist adverts, and spoke to my host family who are older about this. So I've got some good insights into that. I watched quite a lot of TV when I was out there. That's still very heavily, in my opinion, infantile, and using this kawaii culture quite a lot. This kawaii culture, the cute culture, is still very strong in Japan for advertising, for PR, for marketing. And if you're interested in it, there is an exhibition at the Victoria and Albert at the moment. So I'll be looking at that, looking at women. As a white woman in Japan, I did have some interesting experiences, but looking at the women in the media, the TV, has it changed? I've spoken to women as well in the workplace too. Written a blog about the rules and regulations, still this level of politeness and everything happening as it should. So I've written a bit more about that on my website, and the detail, the level of detail in everything, in conversations, in marketing, and in interactions. Even though, you know, we associate the Japanese with being fairly indirect and vague, there is such a level of detail that has to be appreciated. So hopefully this is going to prompt you to want to follow and read my blogs, and I really look forward to hopefully meeting some of you too.